And here we go. All right, everybody. Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. I wanted to talk to you about the musculature as far as the toes go when it comes to running. And we are going to drop down to the education portion of the room here down in the shoe lab. Oh, man. So just bear with me here. Bear with me. We have like this light thing going on. Like you guys are getting the full details as far as like what is going on with this channel and what all we got to do in order to make some sweet running content. Alrighty, so let's bring you down here to the whiteboard. All right, so this is gonna be a geek out session. All right, so I want to talk about what is going on in the muscles in the feet as it pertains to the running cycle. I'm going to have some animations on the screen. I use an app called Complete Anatomy, and I feel like that's just very helpful as far as kind of describing some of the structures that I'm thinking about. You know, basically we run and we don't have to think about it. That there are all these amazing things happening all at once automatically without any help from us. In fact, I feel like if there was intervention required consciously from us, then it wouldn't go well and we would run terribly. So I'm going to be probably messing around with the tripod here, trying to figure out the best way to do this. But I've got the whole thing kind of right here, and I apologize for any glare on the board. It's still a work in progress, so if you guys will forgive me. But let me walk through what I'm doing here. So basically, these are the the 5 categories of the gait cycle as it pertains to running. So you can picture this is, I get it, mid-foot strike, forefoot strike, heel strike. But for this, we're going to talk about, and most texts that I saw talk about a heel strike first. So it's going to go from the heel strike, cycle through, back to the heel strike, okay? So heel comes down, and then you go to kind of a flat foot piece here where the leg is a little bit this way, and then the leg advances a bit. You're in mid stance, and then you're going to heel. Heel is coming off the ground, and then eventually the toe off, okay? So this is just generalized groupings of muscles going on here, okay? So let me just kind of bring you guys in and rock and roll you here. So basically, here we go. So again, I'll have some animations on the screen of these muscles that we're talking about. So it's eventually going to all come back to this tibialis anterior muscle, which is that strippy muscle right here in front of the shin. In fact, I'll use me as a model. Right here is your tibialis anterior, and it controls that ankle mainly towards the nose, okay, as it prepares for heel strike, okay? You see, I say controls landing and stabilizers. Okay, basically it's you got flexors and longus and brevis. We can get into that here in a second as far as the different sorts of muscles go. So all these are kind of happening at once. So it's not like, this and then this and then this, but you kind of can see what I'm talking about here. So extensor hallucis longus. This is the one that basically starts at the back, way up here, almost around the knee and the smaller bone, the fibula, works its way all the way down, crosses over, as you can see on the screen, and connects just behind the big toe. Anytime you see longus, you can think that it crosses a joint, and whenever you see brevis, I don't know. Oh, here it is. Here's an example down here. It doesn't cross a joint. That's kind of the way I remember it, okay? And then, of course, you have your extensor digitorum longus. All these are designed to control the landing, stabilize the foot, keep it from over or under pronating, okay? And those are going to be the things that control the toes. And again, those kind of muscles originate from way up top above the ankle. And you have your abductor, abductor, which means that it takes it away from the midline, abductor hallucis, and that controls the big toe here. Okay, and then you get your quadratus plantae, which is a little bit of a flat plate. Think about it like a flank steak muscle. It's a bad example, but it kind of hangs out right here. okay? And then moving on to the next step, which is the flat foot stage, okay? That's more stabilization and maintaining of the structures, okay? Again, flexor digitorum brevis, okay? We had the digitorum longus here, but now we're getting into the actual foot, which doesn't cross the joint, as I said. And then you get your abductor digiti minimi, which I think is just a fun one. There on your screen is that. Lumbricals, which are kind of these little ones in between the toes. Again, the flexor hallucis longus is there as well. Flexor digitorum longus. Again, all these things are designed to stabilize and maintain the posture and the structure of the foot. Okay. Moving on to mid stance. I think it'd be interesting perhaps to have some of the percentages of weight and time spent in these different phases. I found some texts that kind of varied, but there is a lot of time spent on the mid stance. I think like 40% or so of the entire gait cycle. All right. And here you go. Basically, you can kind of see a trend here. Basically, the first ray, that's the first toe. It, is the driver of the foot, as it relates to when you land and you get that neural feedback, to keep the foot in line. And this one is the adductor, not abductor, but adductor. Ad meaning bring it towards the midline. So we went from abductor to abductor hallucis. So interesting. Plantar interossi, again, bottom of the foot in between the metatarsal bones there. All right. And then here we got dorsal interossi, same thing. Dorsal meaning kind of on top. So a little bit on top and in between the metatarsals. Tibialis posterior. Okay. So now we're getting into the back of the leg. Peroneus longus and brevis. So you guys might have heard about the peroneals. Those are the muscles that kind of start here and work their way around the outside of the foot and into the foot. All right. So this one's more for arch support and balance. Okay. All right. Moving into the heel off. Number 4. Promise we're making a complete circle here. All right. You can kind of see that we have the flexor hallucis longus. Once again, we have the big toe. Flexor digitorum longus, again, works its way across an ankle joint and up into the leg, into the middle of the foot, and then plantar fascia. So plantar fascia, even though it's not a muscle, it is definitely an important structure, originating from the heel and then working its way towards kind of the big toe joint, and then the fifth toe here, it kind of fans out. It definitely plays a huge role in heel off and elasticity and spring. And I think we can have an entire conversation about the plantar fascia, but it's mentioned here. Okay. Flexor hallucis brevis. Okay. Again, bottom of the foot controls the big toe, doesn't cross the joint. And this is for propulsion and assists the big toe for preparing for toe off. So it's getting you ready to launch into acceleration and propulsion. All right. Working on the framing, I promise. Okay. And here we go. So toe off is the flexor digitorum brevis, the quadratus plantae, the abductor, meaning taking away hallucis for the big toe, flexor hallucis longus, again for the big toe. And then now you get your big muscle, your gastroc and your soleus or triceps surae, whatever you want to call it, accepting the weight as you come down off that heel, and stabilization of the foot structure as a whole. So again, that's for big toe stability and calf push off. Well, I just wanted to kind of geek out with you guys a little bit about something that I wrote on the board here. And I don't know, what do you guys think about these fun little educational sessions? I don't know. I just feel like it's so interesting that when we're running, I had some running shoes. Here we go. And our feet are in shoes and we're not really thinking about it. And we're coming down and we're going through the flat foot and we're going through the mid stance and then we're going through the heel off and then we're going through the toe off. And that's just one foot in flight. Okay. And then you have the other foot that is happening. And then there's this period where you're completely levitating off the ground whenever it comes to running. There's a period where both feet are off the ground. And just seeing slow motion analysis of myself running and other runners is just so interesting to think about all the different things that are happening as far as maintaining that structure. But also at the same time, how awesome is it that we don't have to individually think about all that? These are just for the feet. This doesn't really include the like lower leg or anything else involved. I mean, you can think about the entire body is probably involved. Like as far as muscles go, this is not including bones or ligaments or anything else. I mean, this is just a snippet. I don't know. I am just oozing gratitude and just admiration of the whole process I guess is what I'm saying. So this is just basically admiring our bodies and how awesome they are. Okay, so there you go. A fun little informal thing. I don't have my microphone. I don't have the fancy camera. I'm on my phone for tonight. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.